about it.
No, not really. Because when it comes to my positions, like all of the vast majority, 90% are in broad indices. So you have HYLD, you have USCL, you have QQCL, you have GDV, which is the Brompton Global Split Share Fund, which is
Sounds
a
like a wind
more,
tunnel, eh? Can you hear that?
yeah, it does. So it's a more defensive position because they're all dividend grower companies around the world. So it's more
Okay.
defensive. And then I also have S Day in there. I have C Day in there. I have Bank in there. I have Utes in there. I have HDiv in there. So it's very, and I have a couple of single stocks that not doing as well. So I actually had a little bit in Coney and Missy still sitting there, but it's only at about a 1% that margin account. So my exposure and risk tolerance is pretty much balanced out 50-50, give or take, between more growth and less growth, so more defensive. So because even during a market correction, defensive positions will actually be positive NAV-wise. And during a strong bull run, those defensive positions could actually be at a lower price.
Right.
Because they're not doing as well. So you can kind of think of it as you're basically capitalizing on these positions regardless if it's a bull run or a strong or it's a flat run or a bear run. So there's always ways that you can keep buying more and then reorganize and recalibrate depending on how things go forward. So that's why I always like to have multiple different positions in my margin account specifically.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that like when the crash comes,
Great.
and people are bailing
cheaper.
out of when people are bailing out of technology, they're going to be throwing all their money into utilities, right? So then your Utes is going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
Now you can sell it at a gain and buy technology. So
exactly. Because
I think it's a good plan.
During the past 3 days, there was a slight market correction. Utes and Bank both were positive by like 5%. So I was like, okay. And then as soon as it rebounded technically today, Utes fell by 5%. Yep. So you can kind of think of it as, okay, even with these kind of small micro movements, you can already kind of predict what could happen. So that's why during these days, I would buy and sell Utes. So Utes is kind of my Utes and C Day, Utes and S Day are pretty much my defensive positions throughout my entire picks. So you can really reallocate.
Anything like ENCL, any oil as a defensive?
I do have oil, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Although, is oil really a defensive position? Because it's
cyclical, right?
It is cyclical, but it's not behaving as well, yeah.
Bail out of tech stock, they're going to have to put the money somewhere, right? So they'll probably put it in finances, utilities, and oil.
That's true, yeah.
I could be wrong. I'm just guessing.
I think I would say so, because when it comes to the Canadian market specifically, financials, oil, and basically in Canada, it's pretty much defensive. The vast majority of the top 60 companies are all defensive picks. So you can really pick an all-in-one basket like C-Day, which has the vast majority of those companies already that's pretty much spread out. Or you can pick and choose like financial. So you have Bank, and then you have the utilities, Utes, and then you have oil. You can either pick between Oily, OILY from Evolve, or you have ENCL, or the non-leveraged ENCC positions. So you have different picks that you can choose. If you want to just go with one position, you can just go with C-Day. Or even, if you want to be even more risk adverse, you can even go like just the regular dividend growth ETFs. So you have the one from VDY, from Vanguard, and XCI, or XDIV from iShares. So there's a lot of different choices you can pick and choose. And that's also a good thing, to have different positions that you can strategically rebalance and reallocate. So you can really play with that. But then if you don't care, you can just set and forget it. So you can just keep buying regardless, that's it. That's why every investor has a different tolerance, has a different mindset. And Gary did always brought up a really good point, is that it's very important to keep in mind that everybody has a different vision, has a different financial goal, has a different risk tolerance, has also a different risk preference. And so you can't copy blindly anybody's trades.
No.
You have to understand each person has a different financial portfolio, and nobody is an exact copy of anybody.